Hello, this is a review of the Invicta 1553 Specialty Collection Interchangeable Watch Set. Now this is a casual watch with perhaps somewhat cheaper bands than a luxury watch, but has a face and a casual look that I like. I think this is a nice watch. Now the first thing we're going to notice is that it comes in packaging that screams luxury, that I think makes an excellent package opening experience. That seems very nice. So let's take a look at it. So as we can see, it comes in this box that's outer box that has a nice little lettering on it. And what we do is, let's go ahead and take this off. So we're going to go slide this paper sleeve off, yielding a fake leather wrapped box. A faux leather box with interesting looking lettering that looks very nice and elegant. And then we can go ahead and open this up. So let's go ahead and open this up. And you get this nice felt material with the lettering on it as well that looks very elegant. And let's go ahead and peel off the materials, and you'll see that they've nicely laid out for you the manual and warranty information. And then beneath that, we get the actual watch. Now it comes, very nicely presented, everything tied down in their little area, and I've already freed the main watch, otherwise it would have been tied down by a tine there and there, and these are elastic. Oh, by the way, note the first time you go to extract the watch, this end is easy because you can just slide it in and out, even though it's a little bit tight there. For this end, you're going to have to stretch it enough to get around this fatter section down here. I worked at it for a little bit the first time to get it around over this. Just be aware of that. Give yourself a little time. So I think it looks presented very nicely, makes it seem elegant. Now it comes in packaging that rather screams luxury. I think it's very, very nicely presented, and perhaps the first time you open it, if you're not expecting these nylon woven bands, it might cause you to think that it seems like there's a disconnect between the rather awesome presentation of the packaging and the actual watch inside. But look at it for what it is. It is a great casual watch that's better, in my opinion, than many off-the-shelf watches, your Timex and little Casio watches that you might just buy that aren't locked up in a glass case. It may not be on the tier of watches that are in high-end luxury cases. So don't let the very high end of the manufacturer's suggested retail price fool you a little too much, but it is a nice watch, in my opinion, better than a lot of other watches that I could just walk into a local department store and grab off the shelf without getting a clerk to open the case. So let's take a look at what we actually get for more detail. So let's look at the face of the watch, and I rather like the face. So when I was waffling between a 3-star and a 5-star, I'm sitting here looking at it going, well, do I love the bands? It's a woven nylon band, and after thinking more about it, there are some benefits we'll talk about. But the face first this is what I'm going to have to look at all the time on my wrist, and I rather like it. I like that the numbers are very clear and stand out from the background. It's interesting, it has the 24-hour clock for those of you who don't want to add 2 in the afternoon if you ever had to count it. I like that the second hand is easy to see. It's red. And the other bands, or the other hands, the hour and minute hand, are relatively easy to see. And if you can see behind it, it has the day of the week and day of the month there as well. Now, because these minute and hour hands are shiny, it varies a little bit depending on the angle of light that you have. So if I turn it to different angles, you'll notice that they'll come a little bit in and out of shininess. Just makes them easier or harder to see. So sometimes if it's on my wrist at just the right angle, it's a little harder to see, but almost here, if I turn it here, right, so now I'm at quite an angle, but they're a little more muted against the black backdrop. Until I get it to shine against some light, then it stands out more. So I might have to find myself angling the watch just a little bit to be able to see that. If you compare that to some other watches that might include a solid color, like compare a watch that I have that I use daily here, it uses gold colored hands, but it also includes a color as well. And so Invicta has many different watches. So, but I think this makes it look nicer, but yet still a casual look. By the way, when you're setting the day of the week and month for the first time, it says pull it out to this knob here to 1 notch, and then you're supposed to be able to change it, and then 2 notches to change the time. But personally, I couldn't get it to change the time, so what I did is pull it out 2 notches and alternated between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. back and forth enough times until I actually was able to get it to keep rolling over. It just took a little longer. It also alternates between Spanish and English while I'm doing that, it seems. Now the band, of course, is the biggest thing you're probably reading about in the different reviews. It's a woven nylon band, right? And it's not as nice as, in my opinion, as something that has metal links, which I rather like. If I'm going to wear a suit, I'm going to want to put on a watch like this. So this probably isn't for wearing with a suit, but for a casual environment, that's nicer than a plastic watch by any means, and nicer than some plastic bands and maybe some leather bands, depending on your opinion. But this definitely dresses it down, which might be what you're looking for. So you get a balance of what I think is a nicer face than a watch that would normally come with a band more like this, and then the bands that make it seem like it's okay. It's not meant to be dressy, but yet you have a dressier face. Now it's a little rough on the sides here, just so slightly, but you don't really feel it from the bottom side. So it makes me wonder, I don't know how this may or may not chafe in the summer, in the hot summertime or not. If you think about other watches, if you get a plastic band or a leather band, you have to replace them periodically anyway. So this watch is really no different. What I like is that they give you 5 bands. You get your black and different colors, and I like that they're muted colors. They give it a nice casual look. This is the most vibrant color that we have, while the other ones are more muted. I like these other ones best personally, but I left the black band on to start. The first time you go to put it on, you're going to have to bend it a little bit to get some flex. When you get this end to go through here, and then you're going to have to flex it to get it to go under the first loop for the first time, which isn't movable, and then basically you hold it down and you can slide this loop, which keeps moving back and forth on me here, and it does keep moving, but it's good enough that you can put it there and it stays okay. This clasp does seem cheaper than, I don't even know what it's made of. I mean, it makes a noise, but it's nowhere near the weight of the metal clasp on this watch, as just an alternate example here. So this seems like more like real metal. I don't know what this is, but hey, if you break 1, 2, or 4 of them, they give you 5. So I think that's an excellent option to say, hey, they gave you 5 replacements. If you break 1, don't worry about it. I like the watch. I can see myself wearing it in a casual environment, and I feel like I'm not dressing down by the face that we see. So I think it's a nice watch. I think it's in a packaging that makes for a nice, fun present because it gives you a good opening experience and a luxurious feel. And then the watch inside is something better than off the shelf, but perhaps not the high-end luxuries that some might think it might be. Well, thank you for listening to the review.